This resume right here actually got an ordinary software engineer an interview at OpenAI. And the reason it was pretty crazy is because he didn't have any big tech experience, any crazy name brand companies on his resume, and he was still able to get an interview at OpenAI. And so in this video, I'm going to walk you through what things on this resume actually helped so you can make those changes to your resume. Just to give you a little bit of proof, here's actually a screenshot that Kevin sent me. Kevin's one of the software engineers that I'm mentoring one-on-one, and this is actually the screenshot that he got of the email from the recruiter at OpenAI. You can see right here that he ended up flagging his application to the right recruiter, and this ultimately resulted in Kevin landing an interview at OpenAI, which was pretty crazy, and this is for a software engineering role. And just a little bit about myself, I've previously gotten offers from Amazon and Google, so this is just to give you a little bit of proof that the strategies I teach do actually work. Without further ado, let's just get into Kevin's resume. First things first, the header of the resume. Most people have, phone number, email, LinkedIn profile, GitHub, but something that a lot of people leave out is their work authorization at the top of the resume, especially if you're a US citizen. That's gonna help you land more interviews, so you should just put it at the top of your resume. It is something that recruiters are gonna really look at, right? I mean, it's the first thing they're gonna see, top left, at the top of your resume. They're gonna be like, okay, this person is fully authorized to work. We don't have to go through any, sponsorship paperwork for them. Boom, you're automatically a green flag in the recruiter's eyes. The next thing that a lot of people overlook is actually the titles for the different experiences on their resume. You'll see here, we've just put software engineer down the line for every single title. And a lot of people make this big mistake of putting like full stack developer for one, and then backend engineer for another, and then like software developer for another one. No. Forget that. Just change all of the titles to say software engineer, plain and simple, and you will land more interviews. And the reason for that is because a lot of companies, even though it's a little outdated, still use ATS and automatic scans and filters to parse through all their resumes they get when people apply. And one of the things they actually check for, some companies, is if the role title is software engineer, it's actually checking to see if you have experience as a software engineer on your resume, right? If you have any experiences where your exact title is software engineer. Well, ATS is stupid as hell. So if you have full stack developer or back-end developer, it's going to think you don't have any experience with the title software engineer, which I know sounds absolutely ridiculous. Some of these companies really need to improve their screening systems for how they parse through the applications they get. But in the meantime, what we should do is just, all of us, let's just change all of the titles on our resume to say software engineer. It doesn't even matter if that wasn't the official title the company gave you. It's not a big deal. As long as you were doing the work of a software engineer, just put the title as software engineer and you will land more interviews, plain and simple. The next thing is the actual bullet points on the resume. You'll notice that there are a ton of metrics and percentages that are actually bolded on this resume. And so if you think about who's reviewing your resume, right? It's a non-technical recruiter. They've never done any leak code questions before. They probably don't know how to code. They probably never even solved two-sum. And so you really need to optimize your resume for the eyes of a recruiter, and what they're going to be looking for when they're skimming over your resume is, proof of impact. They don't care about REST APIs, Node.js, all this stuff, pipeline, CI/CD. They don't care about that stuff. They just want to see proof of impact, that you can actually justify the impact of your work. So you can see 38.6 restoration, 5,000 plus users, improved reliability by 20%, improved accuracy by 35%. I know it sounds a little corny and a little cliche, but this stuff actually helps, putting as many metrics as possible on your resume. Some people overlook that and they focus just on the tools and technologies they use when they're writing the bullet points on their resume. That's a big mistake, because if you think about who's reviewing your resume, the person who's gonna decide whether your resume gets an interview or not, they don't even understand what half of those tools and technologies are. So you and I understand them because we're technical, we're software engineers, but the recruiter isn't going to. So just focus on metrics and percentages in your bullet points. I know it's a little corny, it's a little cliche, redundant advice that you might have heard before, but I can't emphasize it enough. Go and check your resume after this. You probably need to beef up your bullet points with more metrics and percentages. And then final thing I'll say is the actual technical skills section over here. This is also a little bit of a controversial section. There are people who say, load it up with as many keywords as possible so that you can get past like the automatic, keyword filters that companies use. There's people who say, never put anything on your resume unless you're an absolute expert at it, because you could get asked about it in an interview and that would look bad if you can't explain it. I'm going to take a middle approach, something more in the middle. You definitely don't need to be an expert to put it on your resume, but you should also make sure you have some sort of basic understanding of it. Like maybe you've used it at least once, you've actually read some documentation on it, you could say a thing or two about it. But if you meet that criteria, just add it to your resume, especially if you don't have any upcoming interviews right now. Don't stress about the interview itself. You should just be focusing on getting some more interviews lined up, and the interview is, that's a later problem. So I hope you found this video valuable. There's going to be another one popping up on the screen soon that goes over how to actually cold email recruiters at big tech companies. You'll see over here from this LinkedIn post I did with Kevin's, celebration of getting this OpenAI interview. You'll see that he actually got it from cold emailing the recruiter. So you can see over here, this is actually an email that Kevin sent to the recruiter at OpenAI. Then the recruiter got back and was like, hey, thanks for your note. Glad my profile picture resonated with you, because Kevin had mentioned something like that. And this ultimately allowed him to get his application flagged, get the OA, and then get into the interview process with OpenAI. So I've made a separate video, it should be popping up soon, on how to actually cold email recruiters at these top tech companies and just bypass the application process entirely. I think you'll find it really valuable. So watch that one next, and I'll see you there.